Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, it's Ronda Chase Day. Everyone's going to be picking up their Rondas today. Hopefully you've saved it until Clan v Clan started like I have here to get yourself a whopping great 30,000 points as well. We hit collect. So for this video, I'm actually going to do a Ronda versus Kael special edition. Yeah, the new champion that everyone can get for free versus the best starter hero. And we're going to see who should you invest in first if you're a new player. And if you're a new player, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I drop content every single day about Raid Shadow Legends. So here she is then, Ronda. Let's have a quick look. I do really like the flaming fists. The sash coming down there. It's a cool skin. I think you should be happy with it, I would have thought. I think they've done a cool job. Let's have a look then what's going on. A1 is a triple hit. Can be a quad hit if the enemy's HP is less than 50%. This is pretty big for Clan Boss if the Clan Boss goes into a different affinity. Get an extra hit every single time. That's an extra chance to get a Giant Slayer proc away. And with the A1, actually pairs up very nicely with our passive. So 15% chance to join an attack whenever an ally attacks an enemy. This champion will attack with their A1. So again, if you're fighting Clan Boss and the Clan Boss goes on affinity, then you've got loads of chances to get that A1 quad hit in with Giant Slayer procs. Might mean that she actually does quite a lot of damage in Clan Boss, even though her kit does not suit Clan Boss at all. So that's quite interesting. A2 then, another triple hit. Ignores shield buffs, ignores 30% of the target's defense. So this one should hit really hard, and we will test that today. She also brings block passive skills and block active skills. Neither of them can be resisted. This is only an arena ability. Yeah, well, I say that. Arena ability or something like Faction Wars if you're trying to lock somebody out. And it's actually a very cool way of doing it. There's only two champions in the game now that have got this. Her and Ramantu. Ramantu does it to the whole enemy team. She's doing it to one target. But very cool against someone like a Duchess or a Rotus. Just someone who is going to cause a load of trouble for you. Actually, you can try and lock them out and take them out. I guess it's also an option as an anti-Ultimate Death Knight in the arena. I know a lot of people are saying he's a problem, low down. It's an option, but she's the weak affinity to Ultimate Death Knight, so it can weak hit and therefore it won't land. Stop! I actually just tested this when I was like further on recording in this video. She is absolutely the answer to Ultimate Death Knight. What I didn't foresee, or what I didn't kind of clock, she places the block passive skills before she hits. It can't weak hit. She does it 100% of the time. She is the answer to Ultimate Death Knight for lower down players. And I know that he's a real problem in the arena. So double thumbs up. Raid have actually just created the their last champion they created, which is pretty fun. Right then, her A3 is an AoE double hit. Double hit is significant. It means that she can wipe out a Rotus with 2 hits. And Rotus is in the meta for arena a lot of the time. Damage increases by 30% if she's got more than half health. So if you're attacking as a go first team, or if you got away protecting her like a net crit, then she will do more damage. That's actually a significant change as well. So we'll test this out today because I think actually she will generally have the damage boost. Especially as with her passive, she also starts with a shield for 40% of her HP as the second part of her passive here. It's significant. It means that this is likely to come off as a double hit with 30% more damage. Also, immune to turn meter reduction effects when this skill is not on cooldown. So if you're up against someone like Lysandra or Deacon or someone like that who's going to push back your whole team's turn meter, they won't do it to Ronda. The only thing with that is it can actually completely like throw out your speed tune. So if you've got, I don't know, an Arbiter into a Madame into a Ronda type of setup, then if for whatever reason your Madame's turn meter gets messed up or your Arbiter does, then she can come in before the rest of the squad and slap when she's not ready to. That's only, it's a watch out, I guess, but still, I kind of like it. She also got here, decreases all turn meter reduction effects used against her by 50%. So it's going to be harder to push her turn meter back. Is that useful in any boss situations? I don't think it's massively a boss thing. I guess one of the things here actually to look out for or to be aware of, if you were to try and use her as like your Dark Fae damage, yeah? So your Dark Fae, take out the enemy version of you, and you have some sort of setup for that. You just need to be aware that she is not going to get her turn meter manipulated at all. I don't think it should matter because your one should always be faster than their one, but just, again, it's just something to look out for. But yeah, overall, this is a decent skill. And I think her kit is decent. I think we've got some damage. We've got an interesting couple of debuffs. She needs 0 accuracy in any of her kits. 0 accuracy. Means you can build her for more damage or more tankiness or whatever, and you don't need to worry about accuracy in a kit at all. That's actually really useful. However, the only letdown for me is she doesn't have an innate helpful debuff for Clan Boss or for other content. Yeah, she's kind of set up as a straight arena damage dealer or someone who's going to help you through waves, but she doesn't really bring a debuff which would be like, yes, I want to bring that into that boss. And for me, I always want that on a champion. I want just that extra little bit of utility. If she just did something like, I don't know, instead of having these fiery gauntlets, if they were poison dipped and all of a sudden she's doing poisons on the A1, I tell you what, this would be the absolute recommendation for everybody that gets her as a brand new champion to play with her and to build her out first. Yeah, but without any debuffs, she becomes less desirable as a champion because almost in all situations, you want someone who brings a few things. Just raw damage is arena. Outside of the arena, you generally want a bit more from your champion. So that's the only letdown for me. She's got attack in all battles as well. But I guess let's start off with a Ronda versus Kael basic build. You know what? Normally I say, oh, don't show me all the animations in the tavern. Check out the animation when she levels. It's actually very cool. She's like, ah, yes. I don't normally appreciate the animations in the tavern, but actually good job on the Ronda stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ascend her. By the way, spacebar gets you through your ascension. I need some more pots. She's just flexing. She's just flexing it out for us. I actually really like it. I'm not going to upgrade her skills yet with books for this test because I'm thinking vanilla Ronda, just level 60, versus fully booked Kael as the test. Okay, I'm trying to make this a fair test as fair as I can. So I've not booked out Ronda, but I have booked out Kael. I think that's a fair comparison because rare books are very quick to get early on. Ronda, as a legendary, you'll find it difficult to get enough legendary books unless you buy them. I've got them both in Lifesteal, both with Cruel. I've got them both with one set of accessories. So for masteries, we've built a kind of pretty basic, early game mastery setup for Ronda. For Kael, the only difference would be you take War Master instead of Giant Slayer, because Kael does mainly single target hits, and Ronda's doing multi-hits. I've got Ronda here in attack percent, chest, crit rate, gloves, speed boots, pretty much what a newbie would do. The only difference really is that Ronda does not need accuracy, so I was able to find more attack in her build using something like an attack banner rather than an accuracy banner. Otherwise, I've tried to build them the same. So overall, we've got close to a couple of hundred speed, 100% crit rate, 196 crit damage versus my Kael, who we've had to lose a bit of attack for the accuracy, but otherwise very similar builds. Yes, I know I'm over crit capped, but that's just because my gear is not bad enough. And I want to make it a kind of similar stat build to what a newer player would actually have. So let's go into, not normal. Let's go into brutal stage 12-3 first. This would be your kind of farm stage. Right, we're going to try and make this as fair as possible. So Ronda in the lead. How fast do we clear? 12-3 brutal. I'm expecting us to nuke this first wave. Yes, we do. We actually had a weak hit there on that dude, but we're good. Smashing it down. Our team are dead. And then we start going in with the 1-2s. And then we should be back to our nuke. 14-second clear in this build for Ronda. Let's check out the Kael build alongside it. Who should you build? So Kael's bringing HP aura instead of an attack aura. He gets back to his nuke straight away through his mastery kind of proc there. So 10 seconds. So Kael in that 1-for-1. Let's try both of them once more again, just so I wasn't totally lucky. But he does have a good chance of getting back to his nuke quickly. That decreased cooldown. Okay, not quite as fast this time. It's going to be more like the 14 seconds. So he's at a 14-second round 2. Let's try it. Round 2. Ronda is going in. She's got a reduced cooldown this time. But slightly longer on the... It goes to 1-2s. 1-2s. Reduced cooldown. Should get a nuke. 13 odd seconds. It's pretty damn close, honestly. It's pretty damn close. They could both do the job in a really similar style. I've got to hand it to Raid. It did take them a full, 17 minutes to get out the the Ronda skin. Raid Shadow Legends. To be fair, the skin pricing from when we first saw skins, Arbiter, 50 odd bucks, to the $12.99 we're seeing nowadays. This is more like, I think it's a more fair skin price, actually. I don't mind a $12.99 skin. People choose still whether they want to do it or not. But actually, Raid, well done. I think you're in the right sort of ballpark there instead of the insane prices that you started out with. Okay, I've built a very basic Clan Boss team here just to do this test. So, Ronda, as I've shown you her build, nothing's changed. Kael, same thing. They're both going into the team in the same way. We've then got ourselves a Brush coming in basically as my healer, but also does a bit of damage and gives me a decreased attack. So he's got decreased attack here. He's got a bit of leech for healing and some continuous heals. It's actually really good for Clan Boss for like earlier game. We've got ourselves a Skull Crusher as a counter attacker with ally protection to help me get a bit further into the fight. And then I've also got a second ally protector in Taradi the Frog, who's also got another decreased attack. So, should be a pretty well-rounded Clan Boss team, but very entry level. Okay, then we're going to go into Ultra Nightmare, try this team out. I'll try these two champions out side by side, more specifically. I'm not setting this up as check how much damage they can do. It's more about the test. So, what sort of speeds we got here? Grush 183, Taradi 198, 190 on my Skull Crusher, Kael 197, Ronda 195. And then basically we're saying to Grush, do your decreased attack first and then your heals. Taradi, don't ever use your A2. Start with your A1 and then use your A3. So the idea is Skull Crusher does his Ally Protect Wave 1. Taradi does his Ally Protect Wave 2. And then everyone else is just doing their work. Kael turned off his A2. And then I think we are good to go on full auto. I'm interested just to see how much work Ronda is going to do here versus a Kael. We get that shield in, which is kind of like fine, whatever. We don't have a decreased defense or a weaken in the team. So, you know, if I was going to sub out someone, it would be one of these two for a decreased defense or weakened style champion. That would give us more damage. But basically, with all of these counterattacks coming in, we should get a decent kind of feel for the Ronda 1-2-3 combo. And we should also get a good feel for Kael loading up loads of his kind of soft style poisons. And we kind of see how we go. Grush is going to be tanking up the stuns for me. She would get an extra hit in if this was an affinity clan boss. So we would get a bit more damage away with Ronda if we were fighting against an affinity. But I'd also have to bring in someone to kind of cleanse off the nasty stuff. So as a basic test, I feel like this is a decent one. I'll let this run through, see what the damage is like, and then we will book her and see it again. Okay, so obviously with the attack percent chests and stuff, they've gone down. They're both a bit squishy. Let's end the fight to start with there and see what sort of damage numbers we've got. So Kael pumping out 4.8 million, Ronda 2.7. This is what I was saying with the lack of a real kind of clan boss utility. Even though she's getting the extra hits in with her passive, she still massively underperforms against a Kael. Albeit Kael's fully booked, Ronda is not, but she is legendary, so it's harder to book her out. I'm going to book her out now and we're going to run it again. It's also worth saying that if this was an affinity clan boss, then we would get more hits in, more damage. But still, It feels like she's underwhelming in this area versus your starter options. Also, I guess the only way you top that back up is if she is in toxic gear. And she would put out a load of poison in toxic gear in like an unkillable team or something like that. But you don't really have it at your disposal as an early game player. So let's throw some books into her now. Test that same run with her fully booked. It will make a bit of a difference. She gains a lot of damage and kind of cooldowns and stuff with her books. And we're just going to run it one more time. See what sort of difference this makes. I probably should really put defense chests on both of them, or more defense, more HP, if I was properly doing this as like a team I wanted to actually set up for Clan Boss, but that's not where we're at. So I'll run it one more time and let's see what they do. So I've got to say, it's pretty damn crazy the amount of extra damage we've done in this run. And we've lasted a lot longer, actually. They've just both gone down this time. So maybe it was just a bit better RNG. But yeah, I mean, that's a decent amount of damage considering it's a team I've thrown together in a few seconds. Ronda booked versus Kael booked is actually pretty damn close. 5.6 mil from Ronda versus 5.7 from Kael. Kael still outperforms Ronda in Clan Boss because of his poison damage. But yeah, I don't think you would be too disappointed if you threw her in early game and had already invested in her in your Clan Boss setup and just let her kind of punch it out. But she's not bringing anything else. The only way she really adds value to a Clan Boss setup is if you put her in a toxic set and she's your only person that's bringing poison to the table. Otherwise, she's not really a Clan Boss champion. But I always say this, like if you've 60'd someone and they're new on your account, and you've got masteries on them, 100% of the time, they're in your Clan Boss team. Because Clan Boss is the most important content to start to get some decent numbers on. So whoever you decide, like if you've got already just 4 or 5 champions that are 60'd and they got masteries, all of them are in your Clan Boss team, even if they are the absolute arena specialist. And Ronda would be in the same boat. Once you build a more rounded team, she would come out for someone who just kind of suits the role a lot better. Okay, final test for this. I've got to throw it into a normal team because I'm in Gold 5. I'm not fighting against, you know, the kind of type of Silver 1 people that perhaps we might see. But let's see a Ronda nuke versus a Kael nuke in the arena and see what this is all about. I'm actually fighting someone who's incredibly slow here. So I guess one of the things you can A2 someone like a Death Knight. Yeah. And it locks out his passive and his active abilities, which is actually pretty huge. I'm just wondering if that happens as a definite. I've said it won't, but maybe it does. Does she hit? Attacks, places block active skills before... Sorry, places block passive skills before attacking. That cannot be... That does not matter against Affinity. That is a 100% lockout of an Ultimate Death Knight. I thought she needs to hit. She doesn't. She just does it. So she does it before she hits. This one here, places blocked active skills after attacking, I think is a 100% chance to land as well. You could still weak hit with your actual slaps, but I think this is an absolute 100% lockout against Ultimate Death Knight. Which if people are struggling with Ultimate Death Knight in your elo, then damn, that's actually massive. That's actually a massive anti-Ultimate Death Knight type of thing there. Let's just let this run through. See what sort of damage she will do with a nuke when we get there. Plenty of weak hits. I mean, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot, but they've got all of this protection going on. Let's just try and find a normal fight. Hard to find at my elo, I'll be honest. Maybe this is a normal-ish fight. Cardiel sitting there, look. Someone bring a normal team. Let's try this. So we're going to do our increase attack on us. Too fast to compared to my madame here. What she got there? Double smack. It's kind of like 40k total damage in the double smack. She's hitting before madame drops any defense there. So not dropping defense first. That would be a nuke if my defense cleanser was faster. But let's see in the same situation what's going on here with Kael. Pretty sure she hits a lot harder than Kael. Same thing. Let's buff ourselves up. Kael comes in with his nuke. And he's doing 30 odd K. So she's doing probably a good like 30% more base damage than our Kael is in the arena. And she locks out Ultimate Death Knight. That's what I said. She's an arena-based champion. She's also got just kind of general arena mechanics, which are better. So for the arena, I think it's a hard win for Ronda. I think in Clan Boss, Kael will edge it. And in campaign farming, it's going to be pretty damn even between the two potential starter champions. Watch out, I guess, for my endgame Ronda build, where I take her into some dungeons. I take her to type of N-level arena type of build and see what she can do as she progresses through the game. But honestly, if you had to kind of pick between the two, it's kind of even. It's very, very close. I don't think you'd be upset if you decided to go with Ronda instead of Kael. Me personally, I'd still build Kael first because of that Clan Boss utility. But Ronda would be probably in there as the arena nuke in the squad. So definitely both worthy of investment. Would I plow a load of books into Ronda? That's a hard question to answer. And I feel like you will get better legendary champions eventually, which will just give you a kind of more rounded utility for the game. Whereas Ronda, as the game progresses for you, will end up being a one-trick pony arena champion. Maybe squeezing into a finite team. But as I say, we'll check that out in the endgame build when I do that on my second video. There you go, guys. That is Ronda versus Kael. I'll see you later.